Hi, I'm Dr. Deepa Chetty here again, and I'm a health coach. Today, we will discuss something which is I use every day in my practice to understand my patients, and some of these tools we can use, you can use every day in the way you communicate with people. So it's the way which I'm going to discuss today is the communication that we want to have with our loved ones, our peer groups, or with our clients, and what is that which is an effective communication and which can make you put across your thought process in a very effective way. So first of all, you need to have a very clear understanding of what is that you want to convey to the other person. You really need to have a clear understanding of what is that that you would want the other person to understand. So we usually get into this kind of self talk where we feel that nobody understands me, or I am really not able to make others understand things which I want to tell them. Even a simple thing about getting something from outside and you have to communicate that to your maid or to your friends or to your kid, it is very difficult because they are not able to really understand what I'm trying to communicate. Or for that matter, in relationship, many times we feel that what is lacking is I am really not able to put across my point to the person in front or the person I love, or I am not able to understand what that person wants to communicate. So what happens is, and we end up feeling not really good, because understanding anybody, or for that matter communication, is a very very important tool for any relationship. So let's understand now. I hope I'm able to make you all clearly communicate to you all clearly what I would want you all to really get from this whole video. So let's understand what's communication. Communication with in regards to just talking, for that matter, is this: when I want to communicate, it is something which I would want to other person to listen to me, as well as I am able to make myself heard. Also, I am able to take other person's point of view also in a very effective manner in this whole conversation. So when there is a communication between two people, there is a conversation. Otherwise, it's just a blabbering or a talk, and I hope none of us want to do that, unless we are in a zone where we are going to a counselor and we want the counselor to listen to us. There also, it's very important, are you able to really communicate your feelings and your thought process. So what are the important things here which should be taken into account? So whether it is somebody who is just young and wants to communicate to their friends, whether it is somebody who is married and want to communicate to their kids, or whether it is somebody who is just got into a relationship and want to communicate the same to their boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is, communication is a everyday thing, and it's very important that we understand the tool which is necessary to make an effective communication in a conversation. So let's go step by step. First, let's understand that whatever you talk, those are called verbal. The words are used, so it's a verbal communication. And whatever is not spoken is a non-verbal communication. So in our communication, 93% is non-verbal, whereas only 7% is verbal. So understand this: whatever you speak has only 7% of overall communication, or overall of your talk, whereas 93% is the way you talk. So the words which you use are 7%, whereas 93% is the way you use those words. So we definitely get into learning a lot of vocabulary skills, the language of the words. All that are definitely important when we are trying to have a debate, or when we are trying to have a one-way communication. In that respect, or when we are trying to have an impact over a larger crowd, so that we can get across the communication. But you will see that at such time also, what the way you speak the way you present yourself, the way you can keep an audience intact by making them entangled in that whole conversation is also it's most important thing. That's what is all charisma of a speaker is all about, you know. The story does take a hold, but the way story is told makes the most effective way, in a way that somebody will remember it even after that he leaves the stage or he leaves the hall where he's listening, or even if he leaves the place, people will remember you the way you could make this impactful. Because even when you're communicating, some are visual, some are auditory, some are kinesthetic. Now, what is visual, what is auditory, and what is kinesthetic? Some people are able to grasp or learn through images, whereas some people are able to grasp through sounds, and some people are able to grasp through touching or feeling. So in front of you there will be a mixed crowd, or there will be anybody in front of you who can be any of this. So if you are in a closed circuit between your loved ones, it really helps to know whether the person in front of is visual or auditory or kinesthetic, because then you can communicate in that language. Then you know the maximum impact or the maximum way I can understand that person is by giving him a visual feedback. That's a little away from what I want to speak today. So I'll take another video on visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. I think I did take perception of thoughts, how visual and hearing, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic impact the way you are able to process your thoughts and make others understand. Let's today understand that, as I said, 93% is non-verbal and 7% is verbal. So I would like to impact today on those 93%. So in that 93%, 55% is your body language and 38% is your tone of your voice. So let's understand this. What does 55% of body language means? So when I'm communicating with anybody, or when I want to put across any point to somebody, or if I'm listening to anybody also, what's the body language which will have a maximum impact? In body language, understand your face is one part, where eyes is another. The smile on your face is also something which will make a person feel that you're listening, and the way you're sitting. So if I'm listening to somebody, I may just bend forward and listen to that person to make that person feel that I am listening to him. I'm not sitting like this and listening. So it just means that I'm not interested in that person. So body language in terms of your gesture. So whether you are bending forward, giving that a person a feeling that you are listening, or when you want to communicate, are you bending forward or making the person feel connected to you? So body language is one part of it. In that, eye movements, the way you are listening to that person. If you are sharing a very happy moment with somebody, the smile is very important. Even if you are meeting a stranger, a smile will always light up anybody's world. So if you can impart that a lot to people, that will even brighten a day of a person who is really feeling low in his life today. So how much ever it is possible, try to smile your day. Even if you are really not feeling good, when you start smiling, you start feeling good. That's what I have noticed when I have spoken to my client. But at the same time, if you're listening to something which is really not great in some person's life, or you're talking to some friend and something really saddening has happened to that person, then you really having that kind of expression where you really feel that, yeah, I'm listening to you and I really can feel your pain. So that time smile will not feel that person, make that person feel better, definitely. So please understand that I am not saying we have to fake an expression, but understand that whatever you feel within, when you're listening to that, if you are listening to that person, whatever you feel within, get that on your face. That's important, because sometimes we don't feel and we try to show it. So try to get whatever you feel on your expression level and be with the person. Also, when you are communicating, try to be as smiling as possible or as happy as possible. And when we are low, we definitely have a face which is I'm really not feeling good type. But that is not that's not what will really make anybody feel good about you. So we can communicate our feelings also, and that will automatically take the expression. What I'm saying, even when you are irritated from within, the frowns on your face, the anger on your face will never get across any kind of message you want to give to that person. Suppose if I want to tell my daughter that, I don't like the way you are not cleaning the dishes, or the way you're cleaning the dishes. If I said in a very angry tone or angry face, in a frowned face, even if I want to convey that I liked what you did, this vessel was clean, but if I'm saying it in an irritated tone, the message will not go. The person will end up doing exactly opposite of what you want. So, if you are angry, please take some space out and calm yourself down, and see that whatever you want to communicate to a person, you know, and you want a result out of it, or you want to show the person that you still love the person in spite of whatever mistakes that person has done, keep your face not in an irritable and angry tone, because a frown out there doesn't make anybody feel good about you. And if the person feels good about you, the person will listen to you, otherwise they won't. So that is another thing about expression of your face. Okay, also the tone of your voice is important. Like when I'm raising my tone, even if I convey a very good message, like you are very good, if I want to say you are such a beautiful person, if I say you are such a beautiful person, I don't think anybody will feel good about it. So the our tone usually rises when we are angry, So at such time, I said take a space out, and later on you can speak, because high tone pitch is very not very good to sound to anybody, unless you really want to make somebody listen to you strongly and get across a point where the person is taking advantage of you, or if you want to make your child do some work, and in spite of repeated telling that child is not listening, then you can raise a high tone without getting angry. I mean, I told you to get that vessel inside the basin, so you can say that in a high tone so that it is heard. That is a different, you really have to understand that your intention and purpose and your clarity of thoughts before you speak or say anything is very important, so that you can get across effectively what you want to convey to the person. Sometimes a soft tone, when you want to really praise a person or compliment a person, when you want to have a very loving conversation, is very important. So high tone, low tone, these are the tonality which is used in your communication. Also, even in a sentence, if you want to give importance to something, like I want my staff to get me a tea every day early morning. Oh, whenever I come to the office, I want my staff to get a tea on my table. So if you use a pitch on the word which is important, and that person does not forget it, then you should say, like, I want to use all the other soft tones. I want you to get tea on my table. So wherever you use the pitch of the tone, in whichever word you use the pitch of the tone, that will be remembered well by the person, and the person knows that this is an important and this should be really addressed. So when you're communicating to somebody, if you feel that I am going very soft and that person will end up not counting me or taking me granted, then use pitches in different words which are important to you and which you want the other person to remember. In the same way, when a person is speaking to you, and if the person's tone goes slow on some words, remember these are the soft areas. So don't probe too much, let the person completely come out of with it, and then you may literally ask on that area to the person to make them feel that you listened and you were listening to that person. Now, this I use with my patients, because when I'm listening to my patients, it's very important to understand which are the uncomfortable zone to those people, and which are the zones which need a little probing, so that I know the problem area. So this is when I use it with my client, even with my kids and all. If my kid is feeling low at times, and if I can really sit there and listen, I really understand this is the area my kid is really not very comfortable speaking about. So I just leave her for some time, and later on I do come back and ask on that area. So listen to the pitch of the person when you're speaking. Also, you understand the pitch you are speaking on. Where are you? Where do you need to pitch your voice, and where do you don't have to use it? So it's all about understanding first yourself, and you should start this by talking with your own self. Your self talk which you do. Understand that how you are using your language there, how you're imagining yourself there. Are you playing a victim there, or are you playing a powerful person there? The choice is yours. Once you know how do you communicate with your own self, it's not that difficult to communicate with others or understand them or make them understand yourself. First, have a dialogue with your own self with the ways I have told, from body language to tonality to the verbal words which you're using. Start this with your own self and see the change. That will definitely get you through what you want in your life in the way which makes you as well as others happy. Saying this, see you again. Let me know if you want to know more about this way of communication or on this topic more. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you. Do like my video.